Are you looking for love in all the wrong places? Are you having a hard time figuring out where to meet people these days? Do we go online? Do we go to church? Do we go to the bars? Where do we go to meet people? We don't seem to be able to do that organically these days. And then you find yourself going, how do I meet somebody who might be my perfect partner? Now, make sure you check out my video on finding the perfect partner, but stick with me to the end and I will really help you hone in on where you need to go to find your perfect partner. So first off, I want you to be able to think about who you are. You have to have a self-awareness. Who am I? How do I want to live in this life? What kind of person am I? What kind of person do I want to be? What are my interests? What are the things that really get me jazzed? If you get excited about church, then go to church. If you get excited about car races, go to car races. If you're excited about horses, like me, well, go to the arena. Go find other people who are interested in horses. The idea is you have to know what your interests are. You have to know who you are. And I guess I jumped ahead of the game, and that really is the number one thing. But let's talk more about that, because if you aren't able to be yourself with someone, if you pretend to be interested in going to the races when you would really rather just stay home and make baklava, then you probably should find out someone who likes to cook. So you want to know what your interests are and pursue them. Does that mean that you're going to meet somebody while you're cooking baklava? Maybe not. But you surround yourself with people who have similar interests, and that is how we do things organically. Think about the good old days when we used to meet people organically. We would meet them through our civic organizations, through our churches, through schools, through work. We would meet people this way. And it doesn't mean that when you go to work, you're like, oh, I'm going to get that person and I'm going to marry that person. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about expanding your circle of social support. And as people get to know you, actually, they help you get hooked up. They want to introduce you to their friend or their mother, oh gosh, or their daughter or their granddaughter or their niece or their nephew or some variation of that. And so you want to make sure that you are putting yourself out there and being who you really are, because you cannot be with your perfect partner if you aren't being yourself. Imagine what a misfit it would be when you pretend to be something you're not. Now I mentioned a while ago the bars, and that is a really dangerous place to meet people, because the bar is probably one of the worst places to meet people, because you're going to meet people who are always putting their best foot forward, and their social circle may be pretty much revolving around the party scene. And the party scene is really not conducive to long-term relationships. Yeah, it can happen, and I've heard lots of those stories, and you have too. But the reality is that those relationships are fleeting and very, very superficial. So it's hard to really be yourself. And the other problem with meeting people at the bar is that we drop down all of these filters that we have, the things that put us, that help us have good judgment, and we may put ourselves in compromising positions. And this is a topic I want to talk a little bit more about later when I want to talk about the relationship attachment model, but that John Van Amp has put out there. But when you have your filters down, when you start drinking and you start doing things that you might not otherwise do, you become involved with people who may not be the best fit for you, and your judgment isn't as good. And the next thing you know, you're hooking up and you may be having fun, but it doesn't last. That kind of hookup doesn't last, because when the alcohol wears off, when the party scene has died, and you find yourself, oh, well, we had so much fun together, let's get married, then all of a sudden you're doing real life, and real life doesn't fit the party scene. And so you know what I'm talking about. We want to make sure that that is not the trajectory. If you want just the party scene, go for it, do it. Don't get married. Don't do that and then expect to have a long-lasting, satisfying relationship. I know I'm going to probably get in trouble for saying that, but it's okay. I can stand it. The thing that you really want to do, if you want to meet someone that is going to be a good fit for you, know yourself and be yourself. Be honest about who you are. Be honest about your deal breakers. Be honest about the things that are important to you. And when you are honest with other people, you don't hold back. They will see you for who you are. Hopefully, they will be doing the same. You got to spend some time. You got to make sure you do that. So I want you to make sure, I'm doing these short videos, so I want you to make sure you look for my video on the relationship attachment model that John Van Epp has written about, and I will catch you next time. Thanks. Bye.